Very good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here as Group Chief Executive Officer Treasury Consulting and also a venture capitalist. As we speak on 26th October 2020, when we are precisely 7 to 8 days away from US elections, I would like to give you a one beautiful news. And the news is that Treasury Consulting Indian entity, which is Treasury Consulting LLP, is going ahead with IPO, which is initial public offering. Now, before I go ahead, many people really don't understand the exact structures of Treasury Consulting. Treasury Consulting is basically a multinational group. We incorporated in India in 2016, followed by incorporation in Singapore 2018, followed by incorporation in Hong Kong 2019. And then onwards, thanks to coronavirus, we were not been able to expand. But as I already committed to many people that as soon as the coronavirus is over, which I envisage somewhere 2022 end. Of course, I respect all different assumptions and presumptions by various people about coronavirus, but I personally envisage coronavirus ending somewhere 22 end. Of course, being I'm not from medical profession, so I cannot comment if any black swan event will come into the picture because I'm not a medical professional, so I cannot envisage, to be honest, any black swan, just like we envisage the financial markets. In 2023, our first step would be to set up London and US entities. And we will definitely start preparing ourselves for US entities somewhere 22 quarter one. So from quarter 122, we will start preparing for US entity, and our first objective is to set up in New York or Manhattan, whichever is closer. I prefer Manhattan than New York, but time will tell where we could be because our all banks to whom I'm having a very good relationship, they are in New York and few are in Manhattan also. Treasury Consulting Group is a cash-rich group. We are not backed up by any venture capitalist. We, as of now, not subject to pay a single rupee of any venture capitalist. No venture capitalist can claim that he paid any amount to us. We are 100% cash-rich group. And more importantly, in India, we invest in top 10 mutual funds of India. So all the top 10 mutual funds like SBI mutual funds, ICICI, Birla, I would say your Kotak Mahindra, UTI, and almost top 10 mutual funds we invest. Eventually, we will expand our mutual fund by two more, probably in the last quarter of 2020, which is October, November, December. More importantly, standing today, we bank with DBS, and I really don't think that DBS requires an introduction. DBS is owned by Government of Singapore, and we are planning to add another bank in our kitty. So we hold our own treasury. Being a cash-rich group and being banking with investing with top 10 mutual fund of India and banking with DBS and one more bank is on the cards. And we are meeting all guidelines prescribed by the Government of India regarding the listing criteria. So Treasury Consulting endeavor is very clear, and that is the first Treasury Consulting would list as a startup at BSE platform. And I think all the guidelines being mentioned at the BSE platform, we not only meet these guidelines, but God willing, we are far ahead these guidelines. So we are not worried about these guidelines. Then Treasury Consulting will go with IPO, which is initial public offering. And I'm having both option, which is soft underwriting and hard underwriting. But Treasury Consulting believes in the product, the company, the valuation, and more importantly, the respect. We will go with hard underwriting, which means that I will back all the underwriting process. Treasury consulting competency in financial market is well known, and everyone except C category people understand our financial competency. Around 5,000 plus videos are already uploaded on the YouTube, which is a clear cut example of the fact that where we stand in financial market. Forget our bot, our fixed income platform, our Android app, our hedge fund desk, our paid group, and more importantly, the profit which we generate. Treasury consulting will definitely involve the investment bankers and the law firm as soon as we will go ahead with listing. But majority of the process of the listing would be managed by us. In that regards, very soon you will get one more term, which is Treasury Consulting Capital Market Desk. Because eventually what happened that when you list in India or anywhere, and India listing is just a beginning. Immediately after India listing, Treasury Consulting will think of list in Singapore and probably in Hong Kong as well. So when you list, majority of the companies are exorbitantly dependent upon investment bankers, some cases merchant bankers. And you know that I always disregard the knowledge of investment banker and merchant bankers, and henceforth the most important thing is our capital market desk will cover whole process. Not only the pre-IPO, rather the post-IPO also. So example, anyone who invests in our IPO, and I'll assure you that we would be taking a very small amount of money in the IPO. And you would be very surprised when we will disclose how much money we would be taking. So before IPO, after IPO, all process to be handled by our capital market desk. And our capital market desk would be, I would say, would be covering all requisitions, live platform, any kind of query, everything we would be covering. As of now, we have planned that our IPO will come, or our listing will come closer to 2021 end, which is 1 year from now, because we need 1 year. There are hell lot of preparations that we need to do. And as I already told you, that the way we think in the financial market is completely different than what other things. So the process has started, and I think that in a phased manner, like we divided this process into 4 parts, which is March 21, June 21, September 21, and the last quarter whereby we list. So in a phased manner, we will close everything, and more importantly, we are hopeful that coronavirus situation will resolve earlier than 22, but if not, then I hope that by 22 it will resolve. And immediately after 22, the first is either Treasury Consulting London or Treasury Consulting New York. Only, I don't know which one will come first, but I think London will come much earlier than US entity, because the visa requirement of the US entity would be completely different compared to the London. With this, I would like to let all my subscribers, I would like to let everyone know that, especially those who believe that no company can list on Indian bourses without the help of venture capitalist. No company can grow without venture capitalist. You need to have a strong, I would say, father in terms who can help you to be list and all. When we started, we never thought about these things, and I think it would be 6th year of incorporation when Treasury Consulting would list. And I assure you that by the time we list, which is 21 end, precisely 1 year from now, our cash risk position would be much, I think 2 times of what it is. It is already much better, to be honest. It is already much better. Our cash to order book ratio and all ratios of the companies are pretty well. And multiple investment bankers claim that we might touch 1 billion valuation, of course, with a cash rich status as soon as we will list in India. So this is the beginning, and I think that time has come when we list, and I assure you that unlike other companies, with due respect, without quoting the name, there are many banks, companies, those who listed in India, and unfortunately they don't have the capital market desk. Like you can You can yourself see that how many companies you know in India, those who are listed and they hold a capital market desk. But Treasury Consulting would have a capital market desk. And this capital market desk would be covering almost everything. And I'm telling you, we would be raising a very small quantum of money. And more importantly, our goal is always one and one. We are very stick to our goal, and that is bank. Treasury Consulting destination to be a bank. But having said that, Treasury Consulting entities, which is Indian entity, Hong Kong entity, Singapore entity, London entity, US entity, and probably other entities that will come in near future before 25, because by 2025 we are envisaging at least 6 entities of Treasury Consulting, because we are eyeing in Australia, we are eyeing on Mauritius also, to be honest. And these entity will continue to be in picture. These entities will continue to do the consultancy business as usual. Bank is completely separate. So today when you have Goldman, JP, Citi, Standard Chartered, HSBC and all the big boys, but they are only doing the banking business. They have also consultancy business, but consultancy is more or less integrated in banking. But our architecture would be a little different, and our architecture would be, of course, the banking setup would be there, and banking setup would be different than the consulting setup. But that division of work will come when we file for banking license, and that we'll file very soon. With this, we thank you very much, and we would like to tell you very clearly and upfront that in next 1 year we keep you posted about our listing process. And very soon we are starting the capital market desk. I will take an indemnification here, which is a very small desk which we are starting, because we need some time to make it very big, to be honest, and time is limited. So we are setting up a very small capital market desk whereby any investor can come and ask any question. This capital market desk we are expecting to be live by 15th November. And after 15th November, we will share an email ID. You can email your questions regarding our listing regarding our listing on this email ID, and I will personally monitor this desk. With this, guys, we thank you very much, and have a great time. And we would like to thank you everybody out, because when we started in 2016, it was a very modest journey. Since 2016, I think things went very well, because I still remember in 2016 when I started, I was, it was like very, very modest journey, to be honest, and never thought that in 5 years of incorporation, precisely, I will think to have a listing process. But I think God is kind, and we would continue to have new products. We are very clear that by next year, December 21, Treasury Consulting would have more than 100 plus products in the kitty, and hell lot of action is on the card. My personal WhatsApp 9899242978. By the time the listing process is not done, the capital market desk is not coming in the picture officially, any questions regarding our listing can be addressed on my personal WhatsApp number 9899242978. But that doesn't mean if any insensible question being asked on the listing, we will reply it. Have a good time, and a lot of action on the cards. Stay tuned.